Okay, what exactly is demand? In economics, when we talk about demand, we are referring to effective demand, which when we say demand here in economics, we are saying that you have both the ability to buy the good and the willingness to buy the good. So it's not just that you want to buy the good, but you can actually afford to pay for the good. The second thing that we're going to learn in economics when it comes to the demand is your law of demand. Your law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded, ceteris paribus. Now, ceteris paribus is Latin for all else remaining constant. The relationship of this inverse relationship between your price and quantity demanded is because of this law called law of diminishing marginal utility. The law of diminishing marginal utility is this idea that the more you consume of a good, the less utility you get from each additional unit consumed. So I want you to think of your utility from eating the first piece of pizza. Your first piece of pizza that you eat will always feel very, in Singapore lingo, we say shiok. In terms of the second piece, third piece, fourth piece, each extra piece will get less and less satisfying. So we say that there is less utility derived. Likewise, if you are taking economics tuition, the first hour of economics tuition, you might find it quite enjoyable. Second hour, maybe perhaps bearable, but not quite enjoyable. And third hour, it will become a dread, and fourth hour, you feel like dying. So your utility gets less and less with every extra hour of economics tuition that you take. Now, so this is the idea that with every extra unit of good that you consume, you receive less utility. So you're actually willing to pay less, okay, for each additional unit of a good. That's why the law of demand states that there is an inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. Okay, the demand curve is a downward sloping curve which illustrates the inverse relationship between price and quantity demanded. It looks like that. So you can see that the demand curve is downward sloping. Now, a movement along the demand curve is brought about by a change in price. So when you have a fall in price, say from $6 to $3, right, you can see that in this demand curve, we show that your quantity demanded for the good increases from 5 to 20 units. So when you lower your price, quantity demanded will increase. So this is a movement along the demand curve. Whereas a change in demand is represented by a shift of the entire demand curve. The whole demand curve shifts to the right. So this is caused by a change in non-price factors of demand. And what would be our non-price factors of demand? So we have 5 non-price factors of demand. First, let's talk about change in taste and preferences. So positive advertising or positive reviews can change your perception of a specific good. So for example, if someone told you that this math tuition is very good, right? They say that after attending this math tuition, I've been doing better. So this will increase the demand for this specific math tuition. So this will cause a change in taste and preferences, leading to an increase in demand for the good. Income levels of the consumers, right? This one is a little bit intuitive. So when you have higher income, when consumers get richer, they have higher income, they have more income, they have more purchasing power, their ability to increase, so the demand for the good will increase. Now, price of related goods. Related goods, we can talk about 2 classes of goods, substitutes or complements. Okay, so for example, I own a MacBook Pro. Now, if MacBook Pros, the price for MacBook Pros increase, less people will buy MacBook Pros, right? If less people buy MacBook Pros, then less people will buy the accessories of MacBook Pros, right? Like MacBook Pro chargers, extra MacBook Pro chargers, which are complements to the MacBook Pros, right? So if you have a fall in price of the MacBook Pro, you expect that more people buy the MacBook Pro, then demand for the MacBook Pro accessories will go up. So this is what we call price of related goods as a factor. Next would be the size of market. Now, Singapore is facing an aging population, right? You expect that the elderly population will grow. So if elderly population will grow, you expect that elderly care facilities will go up. So if that will result in an increase in demand for elderly care facilities because there's an increase in the size of market in relation to the elderly. And expectation of future prices of future income. If you expect prices of cars to go up in the near future, you buy more cars now, right? So for example, in today's budget, it was announced that there will be less duty allowance for those traveling and bringing back wine from 3 liters. You're now able to buy 2 liters, which means kind of the case of your wine or alcohol will go up. The price of wine or alcohol will go up for those who are traveling. So those who are traveling within this time period, they will try to mix up their allowance and buy more, right? Now, The idea here is that if you expect an increase in future prices, if prices of something is going to go up in the future, you'll buy more now. Or if you expect your incomes is going to go up in the future, so you feel more confident about your earning power, you also buy more now. So this will increase demand.